So I've been working on a project using PROCREATE Dreams 2 for animations, and I thought, why don't I do a little thing along the line for y'all? So I made this simple face turn animation just to show you guys my work process. And this can be simply broken down into 4 simple steps, which are the rough sketch, cleanups, painting flats, and shadows. I will also show you guys how you can change your shadow tones and also add the rim lights. This animation took roughly about 4 hours to make, but thank God for video editing, right? You don't have to watch 4 hours length of video making an animation. I've also been live streaming the entire process from making this project here on YouTube, just for those of you who would like to see the whole video of all the imperfections and struggles I actually had making this. Trust me, I really had a hard time. Without that being said, let's head right into the video. So the first thing I'm doing is importing my character sheet, just so I have a reference of what my character should look like throughout the entire animation. For this animation, I would only be needing the front view and the 3/4 view. If you would like to see how I made this character sheet, click on this video. So I just want to show you guys how I first started making the animation, because I started off really badly. The animation was looking pretty wrong, but I knew I wanted him to look from the left to the right. So I knew I was going to start off by making 2 frames, which is frame 1 with him looking at the left, then frame 2 would be him looking towards the right. And I would start making in-betweens, which would be in between in frame 1 and 2 to like a middle frame where he's looking down in between the turn. But it was not really looking that good, you know. So these are like, I wanted to leave this in so you all see the struggles and how it was so hard for me to get what I wanted. So I had to create like a new layer to start off all over from scratch again, because the first one wasn't looking nice at all. So I remade the turn again from him looking left and right, but it was not still looking nice. So I knew I had to do something different at this point. So sometimes making these animations, it might seem pretty stressful and you might feel like you can't even do this, but you just keep on trying until you get it right. So I just kept on trying over and over again until I felt it was okay. So what I noticed was my mistake was I was trying to sketch out roughs for the character turning his head, where I could have just copied from my reference I had on top. I could have just copied the reference from on top and redrew over the reference to make this turn pretty easy. So the more you animate or the more you work on animations, the more you find easy processes to follow to make your animations work. So I was just actually stressing so hard trying to get this face turn. But what I did instead was I made a new copy of the 3/4 view and flipped it, so I have like a left perspective of the character. So now I just drew a real rough sketch looking at my character reference to get like a few view of what it looks like. So right now editing this video, I just realized I should not have actually stressed doing this. I could have just redrawn on top my character reference, and I would use the lasso tool to move around the parts to make it look like he's looking left and right. So that would have been way easier. But anyways, this is what I did. So I had to draw frames. So I've drawn the first frame with him looking to the left, and I wanted him to look right. But at the same time, I was thinking like, why just do a simple face turn when I could make something more interesting? So now I wanted him to look up first, like raise his eyebrows up, look up first, like he's thinking, then he looks to the right, like a little suspicious look, facial expression I mean. So I wanted him first to raise eyebrows. I was like making the key poses here. So the first key pose was him looking to the left. Now I'm doing like the next key pose, which would be him looking a bit up. He's looking slightly up with his eyebrows raised. So I'm just trying to push around the face and the head features to make him look like he's looking up. So that's why I'm pushing the ear down, trying to fix his face around, and I'm also flipping between the frames. So I'm comparing the first frame and the next frame to see if it actually looks like it's looking up. So after making my first two key poses, I wanted to make in-between frame, which was my anticipation frame. So in this frame, I wanted to add a little bit of squash and stretch, so you will see me moving the jacket a little bit down. So this is my anticipation pose, which is the frame before he raises his eyebrows up. And in most animations, you would see the in-betweens or anticipation is like an opposite direction of the next frame. So in the next frame, he looks up, but in this anticipation frame, I would want him to look down. So it's like he's preparing to look up. So which is why I copied the main face and use this again in the in-between frame. But I'm just editing this face now to make him look like he's looking down. And I wanted him to have his eyes closed and face a little bit squashed, because I wanted to have a little bit of squash and stretch in this in-between frame. So you would see this frame will be he slightly looks down before he raises his eyebrows up. So in the next frame, he raises his eyebrows up, but in the anticipation frame, I would want his eyebrows to go down first before he raises them up. So the face is always the first thing I do. In some instances while animating, then I would start making the other body parts, which is the hat, the hair. Then I would flip between both frames or all frames to see if it looks fluid or if it looks believable. That's what I'm doing out here at this point. In this animation, I didn't really use much frames. I just wanted to do a quick animation test just to show you guys how PROCREATE Dreams 2 actually works, because this is actually pretty easy compared to when I use PROCREATE to do animations, or when I even use PROCREATE Dreams, like the first version of PROCREATE Dreams, to make animations. So what I'm trying to do right now is redraw the body parts to make it look like he's actually looking down. So when you normally look down, your ears would be right on top. It will be higher than it is when you're looking straight. So I'm just trying to redraw the ear to make him look like he's looking down. So I will be redrawing most of the body parts to add this effect of him looking down. So I will also be redrawing his hair to make his hair look like he is more stretched. So that's what I'm doing on here. So what I would also do after this, I would also edit his face in that in-between frame, so it looks like it is still more squashed, because right now it is not seeming pretty squashed. So I will just select the 3 lasso tool and edit this look. So this is why we really needed the lasso tool in PROCREATE Dreams. As you can see now, this is a game changer. I could easily just select the face and squash it a little bit more. So this already looks nice. Now I'm making the overshoot frame, which is a duplicate of the last frame. In this frame, I'm going to stretch this out a little bit so we can feel a little bit of stretch while it looks up. The last frame I made was with his him just looking up, but I'm going to exaggerate him looking up some more, so I kind of stretch his eyebrows higher and make his eyes more open. So normally the overshoot frame is like an extension of the final frame before it returns back to its normal pose. So it's more like an opposite of the anticipation frame. So right now I'm just holding these frames. I'm just gonna hold these frames for longer, because I didn't really want to make much frames for this animation since it's just like an animation test. So I'm using pretty less frames working on this. I mean, your animation could still look pretty nice with less frames. Just depends how you work it out. For this case, I'm just using less frames anyways. But on a real animation, I will be adding a lot more frames in this in-betweens to make it more smooth. So this animation might not seem so smooth, but it just conveys the message. So he just looks down, anticipation, then he looks to the main pose, then a little overshoot. So what I'm doing out here now is holding some poses for more frames. So I'm just trying to figure out what timing works best, because I want him to look to the left first, to be looking at the left first, then he raises his eyebrows up like he has a thought. So I'm just trying to figure out what timing works best. As you can see, this looks okay, but I'm going to reduce the first frame, the time for the first frame, and let's see how this looks. This looks quite better. This looks quite better. But I'm just going to hold the first frame again for a little bit more frames. I'm going to hold this for a little bit more frames, and let's see how this looks. Yeah, this looks a lot better. So once I'm satisfied with my timing, I would start doing the next frame. So I knew I wanted him looking at the right now, so I just copied my first frame and flipped that to the right. And I knew I wanted him looking right, but I wasn't really sure the pose I wanted him to be on. So I was thinking maybe he has his hand on his chin with his face like he was thinking, like he looked up, like he had thought. Then he puts his hand on his chin, like somebody was thinking. So I wanted to draw out the face first before adding the hands on a different layer. So I was trying to do this pose, but I felt like there was something wrong with this pose. Like I was thinking to make him like he has like an evil plan or something. I don't know. So, but after doing all this, I realized like I should do something more cartoony. Because for this animation, I didn't really plan out anything. I just knew I wanted to make a face turn. I didn't really have any plan. So I was just trying stuff out to see what works best. So I was like, maybe I should do something more cartoony, which is like a suspicious look, like a stretch, while he looks to the left, to the right, I mean. So I just stretched its expression more to the right. So after getting this frame done, I would be doing the next frame, which would be another overshoot frame, which is just a duplicate of the previous frame. But I'm going to use my lasso tool to select the head and the hair and push this more to the right. And also, I would also be selecting the body, and I would distort this so the neck matches with the head. And that's a pretty simple way to make an overshoot frame. As you can see, this already looks nice. What I'm just going to do now is use my pen to draw back the body part so it matches. And I'm going to move the hair around to add a little bit of movement to the hair. So you can see this looks pretty nice. So I will also be going back to my previous frame to edit the mouth so it doesn't look like his mouth was already there. I'm going to push him out more in this frame, then push him out backwards in the previous frame. So we're going to have it like the frame before the overshoot frame. So we're going to push him out backwards and stretch it out. So now we have the mouth forming to that end frame. So now I'm just editing the face in the previous frame, so it looks like it has more movement in the final frame. Now I'm going to add another frame after the final frame because I wanted the stretch to slow down. So I'm just going to stretch it a little bit more again, so this like works like a slow down frame. So you can see when he moves from the left to the right, it slows down. And this pretty looks already convincing, even without an in-between frame before the turn. If you find this video interesting or you just want to show your support, you can smack the like button. That really helps my channel reach out to more people, and I really appreciate that. Also, if you would like to see more videos, subscribe to my channel. Thanks. So now I want to start making my next in-between frame, which is like an anticipation pose where he's looking slightly down before he looks towards the right. So I want this frame to be in between the frame of him looking up and also in between the frame of him looking to the left, to the right, I mean. So I'm just drawing all the drawings in the center of the onion skin of him looking of the previous frame and the next frame. So I'm drawing in the center of all these frames. So, but I want this to be like an anticipation pose. So I'm trying to make his hat look down and his face look down. And I really had a hard time trying to make this pose. And what I could have simply done was to just copy the front view face, which I already had on top as a reference. I could have just simply copied that face and worked on that face to make him look down. But I don't know why, for some reason, I was taking the hard route on the longer route to make this. I don't know why I did this. But I guess sometimes you gotta learn the hard way before you figure out the easy way. Right now watching this video, I'm like, why did I stress myself so much doing this when I could have just done this way instead? But I guess we learn from our own mistakes or our own hard trials. So if you're trying to learn animation, you just keep practicing basically. You would figure out easy ways and you would start becoming faster at animation. So this is just my struggle trying to get the in-between frame right now. So now after drawing all the needed frames, I just need to figure out my timing. So I was trying to stretch out most of the frames to see what timing works best. And this looks pretty nice. When you put this on the full screen, you can see this looks pretty nice already. Once you've done your rough sketch on PROCREATE Dreams, the rest is actually breeze because you can easily make your cleanups and do the painting on PROCREATE Dreams too, and I'll show you guys how I do that. So this looks pretty nice already. I'm absolutely satisfied with this, although I don't have much frames as I would have wanted. But let's head straight up into the cleanups. For that, I would turn down my opacity of my rough sketch layer and then create a new flipbook layer and then start doing my cleanups. In this case, now I'm copying the face for my reference and redrawing over this for the cleanups. I could have easily done this on the rough sketch phase and made my cleanups pretty easier, but now I'm doing it at the cleanup stage, which is actually wrong, but I guess it also worked. But I should have done it on the rough sketch phase. So I reduced my brush size to my size 4, because I use this for my cleanups for animations to make it look more studio-like, more animation studio-like. So I'm just redrawing over my actual reference, and I will start doing each cleanup over my rough sketch. So basically what I'm just doing is drawing smoother lines and cleaner lines over my rough sketch and following the same process I followed while doing the rough sketch itself. So I would just be distorting the body parts and moving around the body part with lasso tool to make it match with the rough sketch in most cases. So that's how you do the cleanups. So this is what my animation looks like after the cleanups, and as you can see, this is pretty nice. I also added a little blink to the end when it looks to the right, just to add more life to the animation. I am absolutely satisfied with what it's looking like right now, so I'm just going to head right into the painting. So what I'm going to do is duplicate my outline layer, and we will just simply start picking the colors from my reference and dropping it into the character to fill. But always make sure you draw a line across your bottom of your character, just so your painting doesn't fill into the background. So firstly, I will go in and turn my background color into a dark color so I can start seeing my color fills. Now I will just start clicking to fill each section of the character frame by frame. I will start by filling the hat, then I will fill the hair and the skin and the clothes. So that is basically how you paint in PROCREATE Dreams 2. Pretty easy, right? So this right here is my animation without any shades, just the flat colors. So right now I want to show you guys how I do the shades and how you also change the color tones of your shades easily. So there might also be other ways to go around this, but this is how I do mine at least. So firstly, I'm going to show you guys how I have 2 layers of shading, which is the base shade layer and also my depth shade layer. So firstly, I will show you guys how to do the depth shade layer, which is a group. I'm going to show you guys, hold on. So first thing you're going to do is create a new layer above your animation layer. So I would call this is a flipbook layer. And what you're going to basically do is draw over each frame with your color, your shade color, frame by frame. You're basically drawing over each frame, frame by frame, and filling each color as you go. You're drawing each frame, shades, and so on. So after drawing each frame, you would go back and turn this flipbook layer into a multiply layer. Turn the blend mode to multiply, and then you will clip mask this to your shade layer, to your animation layer. Once you clip mask this layer, whatever drawing you do on your flipbook layer would not go out of your animation layer. So that is just how you do these shade layers. So I will take this off, and that's how I made this layer of shades, as you can see. So what's next to do is our next shade layer, which is this one. This might seem a little bit tricky, but it's not really tricky. So what I did for this layer was simply duplicate my animation layer. Once I duplicate this, I will drag this up. Hold on. I will drag this on top right above my shade layer. So now you see I have my duplicates, my character layer above this shade layer. So what I'm gonna do with this now, I will create a new layer as a drawing layer, and I will drop a fill of my color, my shade color, on top of this layer. Then I would clip mask this to my animation layer, the new animation layer I made. Going to clip mask this. So now we have this layer for my shades. So what I'm going to do next is group the drawing layer with my flipbook layer. Once I group this, we have this layer now, and now we can simply turn this layer into multiply, blend mode, multiply. So now we have our shade layer. Then we're gonna clip mask this layer. Once we clip mask this, now we can move this layer to add the bounce light. It is just that simple. So that was how I got this layer. This is exactly how I got this shade layer. It is just that simple and not complicated. So now with all my shade layers being done, if I want to add a rim light, which is this, add a rim light to my animation, is also pretty much almost the same with how I did the previous shade layer. So what I did to get the rim light is I grouped my shade layer, all my shade layers and my animation layer into one layer, which is this layer down here. I have all my animation shade layer in one layer right here. Then to get the rim light, which is this, I will duplicate this group, which I already made. Duplicate my group. And now I will duplicate this group for a second time. Duplicate again. So now I will turn one of the group into a clipping mask, but it will be an alpha mask. So I'm masking this layer. Then once I go into mask again, I would invert this layer. So now when I turn this off, you see there is no character. But when I move this layer around, you would see my character starts to reveal. So I will just move these to about how I want my rim light to be. So this is my character. I'm masking out my character right now. So you can see I want my rim light to be of this shape. So once that is done, now I know this is my rim light layer. So I would group this mask layer and the previous group layer. Group these both. After grouping this, then I would do the same, add a new drawing layer and drop my fill color, my shade color. This is my lighting color. And now I would group both layers again. But firstly, I want to turn this to a mask. I want to mask this one first. Clipping mask. So now this will be my shade layer, my lighting layer. So now I would group these both, the drawing layer and the previous group. After grouping these, now I can turn this new group into whatever color I want it to be, or whatever blend mode I want it to be. So now I'm going to be using, let's see, I would show my previous group. Now let's turn this group color to a different blend mode. So you can see what it looks like on different blend modes. But for this case, I'll be using, let's see, color dodge seems nice. So I'll use color dodge for my light blend mode for this case. As you can see, I have my rim lights done. It is just that simple. So now if you would like to change the colors, your color tones and all that, let's say we have a sunset background, like maybe a day tone. Let's see what that would look like. I'm going to turn my background into a yellow layer. Let's see, turn this into a yellow layer, which is this. So first thing I'm going to do is go into my group. I'm just going to turn this off. delete this because we already have this rim light. So first things first, I'll go into my group and change. Let's turn this off first, turn the shade layers off. So now let's see what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna turn this off too, turn the rim light layers off too. So I'm gonna change the color of this drawing, which is in my shade layer. Change the color of this drawing to a yellow color. Let's see what it's gonna look like. I'm just gonna keep adjusting the colors till I find what I like. So this seems nice. So now for my mask, my rim light, which is this layer, I will just change the drawing layer again for this into like a yellow color. Now we have like a sunset, lighting, or what have you. Now when I go back and place animation, you can see. So that is simply how you change your color tones. Perhaps I forgot to add the shadows. So here we go. I'm gonna add shadows. Simply turn these also to my shade color, which is this one, I believe. So now that's how you change your color tones in animation. And that concludes this video. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, that helps my channel reach out to more people, and subscribe so you don't miss out on my future videos. I really enjoyed making this and I hope you did enjoy watching this. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.